And it's going.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Chris Wilkins. I'm the founder of the School Finder Group, which includes StudyinCanada, and the sponsor of this event. I hope everyone is doing okay. I am just actually going to stop my sharing for just a sec to set up my screen again. Hang on just a sec. Okay, there we go. And I want to be in here. Okay, great. So, Jack, I think you're hosting. Please let me know if everything is going okay. And let me know if there are any questions. We'll stop periodically through the presentation.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you again, everyone, for attending. We've got, I think, students from over 140 different countries, all interested in coming to Canada. So we are excited to welcome you when you get here, if you're here already. I hope you're enjoying the weather. It's a bit cold right now with lots of snow in most parts of Canada. So today, I think what we want to talk about is how to find the right school, or really the right program. I know a lot of you are interested in, well, a variety of different programs, from computer science to business to the arts to professional degrees, etc. So, finding that right program at the right school is so important. So hopefully we can enlighten you on how best to do that, or some of the tools that we can provide that will make the whole process a little easier. My story started in terms of finding a school when I was looking for an MBA program. I'd finished my undergrad degree and had worked for a few years and was looking for a place to do a business degree. I wanted to switch industries. So I started my search in Canada, and then I branched out to landed on the London Business School. It was a long process of spreadsheets and comparison tables and whatnot. But when I finally found the school and applied and went over to do a visit, decided to go there, I loved it. But it wasn't as smooth with my undergrad. I tried a large school, and that wasn't sort of the school for me. Then I went to a smaller school, and that was okay. And then I took a year off, and then I came back and did a sort of a French English degree at a small school here in Ontario. And that was where I should have been all along, and had a great time. But it took 3 tries to get it right. So hopefully you won't have the same process, and hopefully we can make that a little easier so that you're not starting and then dropping out or leaving and trying a different school or different program. So I went to London in the UK and had a great time at the London Business School, which is a great school. Did some work with digital organizations and companies when I was there, some work terms and whatnot, and really loved at that point the internet and digital media and just what you could do with ones and zeros, and started this company in 1995, so 20 some odd years ago, 25 years ago, and haven't looked back ever since. We often get from students, is a post-secondary education worth it? Should I go on to post-secondary? I guess especially now with COVID, there are other options out there. What education should I get if I do that? But the big one is it worth it? And so from research that we've done with the Canadian government, we can determine that, in fact, it is worth it. If anyone wants to try and guess what the value of a post-secondary education is over your career, it's about $1 million. So By that, we mean if you don't get a university or bachelor diploma post-secondary education, you're likely to make or lose out on about $1 million over your career. So as this table will show, if you're at the bachelor degree at the end here and you're a male, you're likely going to be making on average $82,000 a year. If you just have a high school diploma and you're a male, you're likely going to be making about 55. So it's a difference of $27,000 a year. 27,000 a year. So that's a fair amount of money. Well, it's $1 million over a lifetime. So it is worth it. And I'm sure all of you would agree as you're at this conference and interested in post-secondary at a bachelor, diploma, or master's and doctorate level. But it's more than money. So getting a degree really benefits you in many ways. You tend to be more environmentally conscious. You have healthier habits and a higher level of civic participation. If you're exposed to the ideas and people that you're exposed to at a post-secondary institution, a college or university, then you're exposed to new ideas and a different way of thinking. And that's going to create or make you, in a sense, a better person. And, you know, as the research has shown, better civic person, so understanding what's going on in the world, better understanding of the environment, et cetera. So lots of benefits beyond just the $1 million that you're going to make in your lifetime. What is the cost? So this is information that we have from our database and again from Stats Canada, which is the Canadian sort of research group. If you're looking at an undergrad business program, the average cost per year might be 28,000 Canadian. An engineering program will be a little higher at 33,000. Graduate programs are a little bit less, 17,000, but professional degree programs will cost you anywhere from 32 or 30 to 60,000 plus for medicine, veterinary medicine. There are also legal and business degrees, MBAs and whatnot, and they're going to be in the same range. So that's roughly the cost, and then you've got your cost of travel and accommodation and other things on top of that. We'll talk a bit about scholarships, but there are some funding opportunities that you may have available to you, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. Why is finding the right program or school important? Much like my story, where I went to 3 universities at the undergrad level before I finally decided on one. The data shows that almost 1 in 5 students drop out. So they may be dropping out because it's the wrong program or the wrong school. You know, if you like a smaller school and you go to a large school, you may feel lost and not connected and drop out. If you're in a program, maybe your parents have asked you or sort of gently forced you to go to into a certain program or profession, and you realize it's just not for you, you may drop out. There may be financial issues as well, and even sort of mental health and social issues, especially now with COVID. You may find that it's just not, wherever you are, it's just not the right place that you want to be. So, you know, the amount of research and sort of exploring that you can do ahead of time will have a huge impact on, you know, whether you stay in school and complete your degree or don't drop out and start another program or go to another school. So yeah, 1 in 5 is a high number. Lots of choices. So on StudyinCanada, we have roughly 53,000 programs listed. We have over 5,000 schools listed. And we have 300 plus careers listed on the site. So with all of this, all these options, how do you make sense of it? And so we tried to, and we'll see how we do that in a minute, tried to create tools on StudyinCanada that will help you figure out maybe what program you should be applying to, or ultimately what career you should be going into. And from that, what schools that you that have the programs and that may be the right fit for you. So lots and lots of options. I should also say that you are probably going to be working past the age of 65. So you may have multiple careers. It's conceivable that you'll go into one career and work for 10 or so years or 15 years and then change and try a different career and work longer than your parents did. So you don't have to, you make one decision and go into one career. It's not like you're pigeonholed and you're going to be doing that forever. There are options. So it's fun to sort of experiment if you want and try something. And if it doesn't work, you can move into something else. So that's something to remember when you're thinking about where you're going to go. Our mission, as I mentioned, is to help you sort through the options and match you to the right programs, the right schools, the right careers, and ultimately, or through that, the right scholarships to help you pay for all of it. So let's take a quick tour. And I'll stop there, Jack. If there are any questions, maybe we can take those now.
Quite a few. So I'll let some in and then we can go through.
Great.
You might need to stop your share or go back to SPA-Me to read them because they're all going to come in.
Okay. I see them. Okay. So let me choose a few. Hello. This was from earlier today. Maybe I'll answer some of those because the person may not be on the feed right now.
So you might want to stop your share though, because everyone can see everything else.
Okay, great.
There we go. Perfect.
Excellent. So, sir, please, if I may ask, will every school hold the value of scholarship that may be granted? Some schools will offer lots of scholarships, some fewer, and in varying amounts. The best approach in terms of scholarships, once you've decided on a short list of schools, maybe you've got 2 or 3 that you're really interested in, I would contact the school and ask them if you may be able to find some information on Studying Canada or Scholarships Canada, which we'll look at in a minute. But I would check with the school to see what they have on offer. I think I'm going to randomly choose some of these. Again, I'm going to do the ones that are newer than older. Oh boy, there's a stream of them coming in. I want to study occupational health and safety. Which school do you think is best for me? If you go to Studying Canada, and we'll see in a minute, and indicate that you're interested in that program, the website on the dashboard will give you all the schools that offer the programs and information on the school and how you can contact them and reach out to request more information. Hello, let's see. I want to study law. I want to study. How do I do that? Well, you can, again, go onto the website and indicate what programs you're interested in and figure it out from there. Is the data taken from Stats Canada or as per average? This is the slide that I showed was based on Stats Canada. We will, on Studying Canada on the website, again, we'll see that in a minute, we will provide information on tuition fees. But again, it's important that you check with the school to find out more detail about scholarships, fees, and additional fees, and living expenses, etc. Is it possible to get a fully funded scholarship? It is possible. It depends on the school and the program. Again, check with the school, check on the website. Are there state scholarships in Canada? And if so, what are the main requirements? There probably aren't state scholarships. There will be lots of different scholarships, but I don't think any state-sponsored scholarships to my knowledge. But again, check the site. There may be state scholarships in your country. So I know if or grants and loan opportunities. If Canadian students are studying abroad, they may be eligible for scholarships from the Canadian government or eligible for loans. Can you give us a step-by-step on how your website works? Yes, I'll do that very shortly. I'm coming in late. Uh-oh, that's all right. I don't know what time it is wherever you're coming from, but welcome. How about forensic sciences in Canada? Lots of them. Again, on the site, which we'll see in a minute, you can indicate you're interested in forensic science, and the site will tell you which colleges and universities offer that program. How does an international student apply? It will, again, depend on the school. In some cases, it may be a common application, or in others, it may be directly to the school, to the university or the college. You can check with them. Can you please assist my school with a school for my nephew? He's planning to study medical laboratory science. Great program. What are the requirements? He just finished his secondary school education. Again, the site will tell you, and we'll look at, because requirements are important. There may be academic requirements as well as program requirements, English language requirements, etc. And that should, on the website, the program description should give you a sense of what's required. But again, I would recommend, once you have your sort of short list of schools, that you contact the school directly and ask them, okay, for more details. Okay, with that, Jack, I think I'm going to jump back to the demo, and we'll take a look at the site. Okay, so I'll go back in here and get out of that looping stuff. Okay, so you should be able to see this slide. The slides, by the way, will be made available if you want to download them and view the presentation, which is being recorded after. But this, we're going to go into the site in a minute, but this is essentially the dashboard. So when you create an account on StudyinCanada, and it's free to create an account, you'll have a personalized profile. That's mine there. And that will give you sort of insight or help you match you to programs and sort of filter all the information that's on the site and help you manage the whole process of finding programs in schools. On the left, we've got your personal folders. So if you save something, it'll be here. So if you save a particular program you're interested in or a school, it will be saved and you can access it here. If in the process of creating a profile, if you have matching schools, which you will have, they will be here. And there's a process that you can use to request information from a school. At the top of the news feed here, we have the matching schools. This is sort of a carousel. The first one here is Laurier University here in Ontario. So based on my program and field of study interest, this school fits my needs. So if I want to request more information, I can do that. We'll see in a minute. There's lots of content. So we provide how-tos and articles and posts on different programs and schools and scholarships and careers that we think you'll find helpful. And that ends up here in your feed. So it's a bit like social posts, I guess, but a little more curated, meaning we take a look at it and vet it, and our editing team make sure it's good to go. And there's a post roughly every 1 or 2 days. And then they're matching programs here. So if I'm interested in seeing all the programs, I can do that. Here's a rotating carousel of 2 schools that have programs I'm interested in. And then careers. So based on your field of study and your interest and level of study and everything else, we can link you to careers. So whether you're interested in pursuing a career in Canada or pursuing a career outside of Canada, the program you're going into will give you, in a sense, the credentials to go into various different careers, and we give you profiles, which we'll take a look at now or in a minute on each career. And then below here is matching scholarships. So we'll take a look at that. It will link us to Scholarships Canada, which is the scholarship portal. And then below that, events. And we'll take a look at all of that right now. So let me move over to here. And I want to be in this one right here. Now, Jack, can you see Study in Canada, the website?
Yep.
Great. So I've logged in here. Again, it's free to create a profile if you don't have one. And if you've logged into Scholarships Canada or our sister site for Canadian students called Study or School Finder, if you've logged into any of those sites, you will also be able to access Study in Canada. If you haven't logged into any of the sites, then we encourage you to create an account, okay? And it's easy enough there, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 questions. They look like this. You go in and answer the questions, and when you're finished, so we ask about your current education, where you're living. In my profile here, I'm from India. And I think there was a forensic science. So I'm going to do forensic science. So I'll add that to my list. So there's a lot of different programs. You can choose up to 5. You can choose where to study. If you're not sure, you'd select anywhere in Canada. And then I'm going to save and view my dashboard. So this will tell me, based on my profile now, what programs that I'm matched to. So biology at U Alberta, biology at UBC. And if I want to see all of the programs, I would click View Matching Programs. In total, I think there was at 254. So there are 254 programs at the bachelor level that fit my needs. And I had several different interests: aerospace, biology, forensic science, as we just saw, applied life sciences. I think I have a computer science and gaming as well. If that's too many, I can edit my profile at any time and just go back and, let's say I don't want biology and computer science and gaming, and I will just do forensic. I'll add that again, forensic science and technology. And we'll add that back and then view the dashboard. So we'll go from 254 programs to 44, I can see. So the system now matches me with 44 programs, including a business admin and computer science, so a joint degree at, it looks like Laurier, and forensic science at Laurentian. Again, these are just 2 random schools, or programs. We will rotate them, but you can view them all by hitting View All Matching Programs. And there they are. So maybe we'll take a quick look at some of the programs. We'll drill down a bit. So I've got entry grade here. I've got the school. I've got the program, the length. So at the bachelor level, it's often, as you know, 4 or 3 or even 5 years. 5 years is probably co-op. Indeed, it is. So if it's co-op, it will be indicated here: bachelor co-op, bachelor co-op honors. So if I'm interested in any of these programs, I would simply click. We'll do aerospace 5-year co-op at Ryerson. Ryerson has a booth here at the event, so I encourage you, if you're interested in aerospace engineering, drop by their booth, and for any other program they may offer. So this is telling me it's course-based, 5 years. The fees, $38,000. It's for one year. Enrollment number, they enroll 125 people. Here are some of the prereqs or requirements that we had talked about earlier. So this is what they're looking for in terms of getting in, like your grade 12 or high school education. Your English as a second language or English requirements are here. There's more information here, more links. If I'm interested in this program, I've logged in already, so I got all my details here. I can just simply select a field of study or whatever and hit enter and send a request to Ryerson for more information. Okay, and I've got other programs to consider here. So if I'm interested in aerospace engineering, here's some of the other programs at universities and colleges across the country. If I'm interested in Ryerson in particular, I've got web links here, so I can jump off and go to the website. There was a question about applications. I can click here to go to the application. So this will give me information on how to apply to Ryerson for this program. There's an international student blog, so that might be interesting. I can click that to see what's going on in terms of the international blog. Good stuff there. There are links to their social here. And then there are quick facts and more information on the school itself. So this will give me a sense of what the school is all about in terms of scholarships, email link, web link, all that sort of stuff. What financial aid details, fees, admissions, etc., and then other programs. So if I'm maybe interested in other aerospace, I can look that up as well. And so we've got aerospace engineering, which with the 5-year degree. I'll save that just so we can see how that works. So if I'm interested in that program, I can save it and that in my on my dashboard. Good. So let's jump back to the dashboard and take a look at some of the articles. So here is content that we think you might enjoy or appreciate. So there's international student scholarships at Ontario Tech University also here at the event. So if you're interested in Ontario Tech, I know they've got a lot of good stuff going on. Drop by their booth and they have a presentation. Here's something from Ryerson. More from Ontario Tech, York University, a big university here in Ontario. Also great. It's where I did my undergrad at York, at Glendon College, York. Here's an English language skills test, your guide to everything you need to know. So all sorts of good content here in the news feed. Upcoming events. So if you're interested in events, you can click all events and you'll see everything that's going on here. And there's a registration or more information link. So if you're interested in the Mount Royal's anthropology info session, you click register and that will take you out to their site to register for the event. So lots of good events, and events are great. I mean, it's harder now with COVID, so there aren't as many in-person events, but it's a great way to get a sense of what the university is like. Even if you can't be on campus, virtual events better than nothing. So, and often these are virtual. It'll tell you online means virtual. So it's a great way to stay in touch, get questions answered, and get a sense of the university and what it's like. I'll flip back to the dashboard now and go into scholarships. So one of the Scholarships Canada site, and again, as I mentioned, they're interchangeable. So your registration will work on Scholarships Canada as well as StudyinCanada. This will give me some of the scholarships that I may be eligible for. So it's matched me to 77 scholarships based on my profile, and I can get a better sense of what they are here. And this will be organized with the deadlines closest to today's date at the top and going down from there. We would recommend that you sign up for scholarship deadline alerts. So there are a number of different subscription options. I'm going to go back to StudyinCanada here and go to my preferences. So subscription preferences down here tells me or allows me to sign up for different emails and communication pieces. So there's school information. If I want to be sent emails regarding schools that I may be interested in. That's this one. Scholarship deadline alerts, that's the big one in terms of getting a monthly email that tells you which scholarships have deadlines that you may be eligible for coming up. Missing a deadline is not something you want to do, so this is a really good one. Promotional offers, we send out surveys or offers from financial institutions and market research and other organizations, and that, you know, where you may win a prize or whatever. And so that's the offers option. We send out information if we're hiring or doing things. That's the School Finder group messages, and then some of the newsletters here. So we do encourage you to sign up to whatever is relevant. I think newsletters, school information is probably critical, but deadline alerts really, really important, because that will give you an update or heads up every month if you've got scholarships that have deadlines coming up that you may be eligible for. Okay, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and then I'll open things up and answer a few more questions. So the other thing I mentioned was we link you to careers. So based on my profile, which is aerospace engineering, and forensic science, here are the careers that I could get into. So if I click matching careers, I'll see aerospace engineer, and we give you some indication of the salary and the salary change. This is being updated now to 2021 numbers. I think these are about 5 or so years old, but this will give you a sense of what you can make in each of these different careers. So the forensic, back to the forensic science. If I'm interested in forensic science, it's on average, I'm going to make 69,000 Canadian a year. This is a description of the career, some requirements, outlook. So we try to provide a sense of what it's doing over the next little while. Is it a career that's growing or not? Earnings and yeah, and so it's good information on what a forensic science is all about. Good. I guess one more thing is job opportunities. So we've partnered with ZipRecruiter. So if you're interested in a job, and again, if you're not living in Canada, I think this will geo-target. I'm not sure how many jobs there would be outside of Canada, but if you're in Canada, or in my case, I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, there are 208 jobs on the job board here. And so this gives you a sense of what's available in terms of getting a job. Not as important coming into university or college, but certainly pretty important in your final year. Okay, with that, I'm going to jump into questions. Jack, let me stop screen sharing and get over to the portal. Okay, so do we have any more questions? It looks like we do.
But if you're coming in now, I'm going to give you the most recent ones that people are here and listening.
Okay, so I studied my bachelor degree in English in a British university. Should I have an IELTS certification to apply? I don't believe you should, but you should check with the school that you're interested in. It may be school specific, so it's a great question for the school. They'll be happy to answer that question. I would like to know which of the colleges in Canada offers health information program. So the website should do that. So again, when you go in and create a profile or change your profile, you can change your programs of interest, and so you can select any program that you're interested in and see which ones offer the program, and then have links to connect with the schools directly. What's the name of the website? The name of the website is StudyinCanada.com. Jack, maybe can you put something in chat just so people know where it is?
Doing that right now.
Okay. I would like to study computer science in Canada. How can I go about doing that? And do I need IELTS? Again, it really depends on the school. And different schools will require different language certificates. So it might be Ielts, it may be CALE, it may be TOEFL, etc. So it may be, depends on the school. Again, that information should be available on the site as a good starting point, but I can't encourage you enough to contact the school directly and ask them what the requirements are, and they're more than happy to help you. Hello, everyone. I'm a Syrian pharmacist, graduated in 2019. I'm intending to get a scholarship in Canada. How can I make my dream come true? Well, try the website. Start with Study in Canada, then Scholarships Canada, and hopefully that will help your dream come true. Graduated math and stats, got an IELTS certificate, but I'm so hard to find. Oops, I missed it. It's hard to find a scholarship. Yes, it is. Fortunately, I don't have one. There are conditions so hard. So again, use the website. If Scholarships Canada is a good starting point, you could also speak to your government, wherever you're coming from. There may be some government funding available. Contact the school that you're interested in going to and see what they have on offer. And sort of try all the different channels you can to see what kind of funding is available. I'm a third-year student in Russia. My primary language is English. I am studying petroleum engineering. I'd like to do a master's degree in Canada. My question is, can I get admission earlier and full scholarship? Their program of study and see what comes up and start there. What's the best college to study PG diploma in biotechnology with good placement rates? Start with the site, contact the school. Placement rates, I think, is maybe referring to job placement rates. The schools will have some of that information. You can contact them. You may also be interested in staying in Canada. And I know there are presentations from the Immigration Network and also Danny's presentation at Canadian University Application Center presentation. These may help. For language as well, I can recommend the Pearson presentation and going to the Pearson booth to learn more about their language program. But yeah, there may be other presentations here that will help with that sort of stuff. Online programs available. There are, of course, many schools right now are only online. With Omicron, everyone's gone back to sort of a more or less virtual remote form of delivery. But there are, once we get out of COVID, there will be, and we're back to in-person, there will be options to do online or remote or in-person. And we do try to indicate that when you look at the program profile, it will indicate how the program is being delivered. There's certainly schools, universities as well, that are primarily remote. Royal Roads comes to mind, Athabasca. So there are a couple in Canada and elsewhere in the world that are just remote or online. About jobs, as an engineer, can I get a job offer from online? You can, if you're interested in engineering, you could try the ZipRecruiter site. There's a link on Study in Canada. You'll find that. That would be a start. Good day. Passionate about children. I would like to study MEd, early childhood education. Great. Again, so indicate that when you set up a profile in Study in Canada, and then move over to Scholarships Canada and see what comes up. I'm contacting on behalf of my son. I'm looking for schools that are focused on computer engineering, right, which is one of the fields we looked at. What are the different ways to apply for scholarships? Maybe just a note on scholarships. So there will be academic or school scholarships. So when you find a university, the university will have scholarships available. It may not be a lot, maybe more, depends on the program, etc. But there's another set of scholarships that are offered by in non-educational institutions is the best way to term it. So these are companies or associations or unions or religious organizations that offer scholarships. that aren't tied necessarily to a university. On Scholarships Canada, we try to provide all of those opportunities so that you've got information on as much information as we can find for you. So yeah, there's academic and then there's non-academic scholarships, and it's worth looking at both. And then there's your own country scholarships. There may be financing, which we don't have on the site, and it may be a loan. I know TD is presenting here today, and so banks such as TD may offer loans or may have some financing options for you when you're coming to Canada. My daughter would like to register for dramatic arts. Which schools offer courses in both French and English? We will, on the site, will indicate, I think, the language of tuition, of instruction. So you should be able to find that on the website. If it's not there, if you're not sure, contact the school directly. And again, there will be contact details on the program and school profile on StudyinCanada. So you can, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to reach out and make contact with the university. I wish to undertake a diploma after my 12th grade in India, but I would like to complete my degree after 4 or 5 years. Are there colleges with ties to universities that would not penalize me, give me credits? Yeah. So if you're talking about doing a post-secondary degree in India, there will be some sort of transfer. You're going to need to check with the university or college here to understand what they're going to give you credit for. It may be university or college based on the school you're interested in here. There are more and more mature students too. So this mature student being a student who maybe has graduated maybe with only a high school diploma, but is working and wants to go back to school to do an undergraduate degree, or has an undergraduate degree and wants to go back and do an undergraduate or postgraduate degree. Lots of different options, and I know any university or college would be open to speaking to and recruiting students who are mature students. Is there student housing for international students? Yep. Check with each institution you're interested in, but yes, absolutely. Is there a way we can have a WhatsApp? Oh, great idea. No, not right now, but we can look into that. Thank you for that. Are there work opportunities? Yes, it will depend on the school. Again, there may be options to do some work while you're here studying. What's the name of the website? StudyinCanada. I think Jack put it in the chat, but StudyinCanada.com. In Canada, is it advisable to study dramatic arts in a traditional university or a Polytech? That's a good question. The Polytechs may not offer dramatic arts, although they might. Again, I go into onto StudyinCanada, indicate dramatic arts, and see what comes up. I think it really depends. Is there another major you want to take or look at? What kind of school? Where do you want to be? There are not a lot of polytechs in Canada. A lot more traditional universities. So it depends. Reach out to the school. Do events too. I know when I was choosing to go to the London Business School to do my MBA, I had some offers from schools in other places in Europe and the US, and I think some in Canada. I really did as much as I could to get a feel for the school. And part of that too would be reputation. And there are the Maclean surveys here in Canada that give you a sense of reputation by program or by school. So you've got to look at the whole thing, I guess, holistically and do what kind of makes sense to you. We're getting close on time. I'll answer a few more questions. Do schools provide housing? Most will, or they'll provide an option or information on how you will be housed or can get housing. Housing is better than, can't read that. Housing outside is better than with university. It's more expensive, not worth it. It will depend on where you are. If you're in Toronto, housing may be more expensive. If you're in Guelph, or in a smaller town or city, it will be less expensive. Application fees will be indicated again on the website. There will be links to the site, to application sites or parts of university websites that offer more information on fees. The fees will vary with the university. With a dropout rate of 1 in 5, would you advise that a first-year student undertake part-time job together with studies? That's a really interesting question. Part of the dropout rate may be due to students working and trying to go to school. So especially if you've got a full-time job and you're trying to do your first year, it may be problematic. So it's really up to you. It's up to the program too. I mean, if you're in a math or engineering program, your first year is going to be pretty intensive, and it may not be a good idea to work. I mean, my approach would be to maybe see if I can get a part-time job and that's got some flexibility. And if I can handle the workload, I would continue and maybe up the workload. If it's going to impact my studies, I would stop or scale back. And I know it's difficult too. Financial concerns are huge, but I think it's good to remember that $1 million number. So if you do graduate with a bachelor degree, you're more likely over your lifetime to make a lot more money, like $1 million, than if you don't graduate. So in the short term, school may put you in debt, or it's hard to afford it, but the outcome is going to be financially much greater than if you don't complete your degree. So if that makes sense, it's kind of short-term pain to get long-term gain. I wouldn't jeopardize finishing your first year. Does any college in Canada accept University of the Bahamas credits? They might. It's something that if you contact the school, they will and tell them what university you're at, what college you're at, and what you have. They will help you in terms of assessing what those credits are worth at the university you're interested in. A lot of questions. So we won't get through all the questions, but we do have a sort of a transcript, and we can provide more information and try to aggregate them and answer them collectively. Also on StudyinCanada.com, there are FAQs, and there's a lot of this information may be available already. So again, we encourage you to, if you don't have a profile on the site or haven't visited it, to check it out. What is the average dropout rate for international students who have not gone to school in Canada? It's a good question. I'm not sure if there's data on that, but it's a good question. It may be the same, 1 in 5. It may be a little higher. Again, it depends on, I guess, the situation where you're located. One of the things I know with international students is you're coming to Canada if you've never been here before. As I mentioned at the top of the presentation, there's a lot of snow outside and it's colder. If you're coming from a warmer climate, that's a big deal. So it's dealing with that, and maybe having a group of students from the same country or a similar region in the world where you can connect with them. There's also language challenges. So, one of the questions you would ask or check out when you're looking at schools is, what supports do they have for international students from the country you're coming from, or, the region you're coming from? And do they have, what is the success rate, and do they have support for students coming from different climates and locations around the world? I think, Jack, do you see any questions that I've missed? There's lots of them.
A few. If you want to answer a few more, I think you answered majority of the most recent ones, so I think that you might want to wrap it up.
Okay. Okay. So I'll wrap it up by saying I hope you enjoy the event today over the next 5 hours now, I guess. There are lots of great presentations. I would encourage you to check them out. Even if you're not necessarily interested in the school, check it out. Again, you can ask questions as you've asked questions here. And then reach out to the school reps and some of the other people who are here. TD, who's one of our key sponsors. Thank you, TD. Reach out to them. And they've got lots of banking and financial answers to your questions. And Flywire as well, who manages all the sort of transactions and can answer some questions there. Canadian University Application Center is great for just information on the process of applying and how that works. Immigrant Networks is fantastic for once you're here, networking, getting a job. That's a great resource. So go to their booths, and then all the school booths, and check out the booth, the downloads, the links, and reach out to the representatives who are at the booths, because they're keen to help you, and they'll have lots of good insight into the whole process and what's going on. And then you're eligible to win $1,500. So the more activity, the more engagement, requesting information from exhibitors, all that sort of stuff. We'll move you up the leaderboard, and we'll choose one lucky winner, and that'll hopefully get someone on their way. But if not, I think hopefully this will be a good event, and you'll get a lot of your questions answered. And we look forward to seeing you in snowy Canada in the winter, but sunny Canada in the summer, and generally a great place to live. And that's it. I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you, everyone, and have a great event.